webinar. Topic of today is now throwing or shooting, which means to execute the very important technical element in our game. And as usual, you will find 3 chapters in the presentation. Starting with the first one, it's the well-known chapter about the basic techniques and about some basic information, why they are so important in our game. Second chapter, especially about the variations of throwing. We have lots of them. Not everything will be explained, but some basic information about the variations and the execution will be shown. And a third chapter again, examples for drills. I want to show you with some drills how we can develop the technique for throwing and how to focus as a coach on the key points of the movements and the technical elements the players need to take care about. Okay, so let's go and start with the first slide, and it's the slide that starts with the picture of the pyramid, well known at that time now. The 3 levels, individual, cooperation, and team, they show how the performance in attack is built up, and always the individual level is really the basis for everything in the next levels on top. So the more the players have the ability to vary their actions and vary in their positions, the better they can make different actions with and without ball, the better it is for the performance of the individual player. And individual quality is something which is really, really important for every team, because the better the individual qualities or the higher the level, the easier to cooperate. And this is easy to understand because, example given, after a pushing parallel, after a crossing, after a screen, then the situation comes to a decision or to a certain point where decisions have to be made. And then maybe the player has to pass to the next position, maybe execute the goal shot. And in this moment, it depends on the individual skills. So shooting from different positions, shooting from different situations, or after different types of cooperation is, first of all, individual skill. And the quality of the cooperation depends on that individual element that has to be introduced in that cooperation. So that's why the first level, individual, is so important for the second, and for the third, it's the same, because even team conceptions, they depend at a certain point of the conception, when the conception is running, on individual skills. So, and as we said before in another presentation, the techniques in handball, they are the tools to solve situations. So giving the player a lot of different tools helps them very much to solve situations. And this is the basic idea in this second slide too, when we talk about the ability to play. Because again, if we see the sentence here, and we want the players to make a decision between different actions, then these different actions have to be available within the player. So if a player can only shoot from the ground, he will never make the decision to shoot from the air over the defense. If a player can only shoot to the one side, but is not able to shoot to the other side, then it's the same problem. So he will not be able to make a different or a decision between those different actions. If only one way of shooting is given to him, if only one variation of throwing technique is within him in a quite well a quite good level of quality, then he cannot make a decision. He will only decide for what he is good in, but not make a decision between different actions. So the more variations the player can use, the better it is. Okay, if we come to the techniques, again, we have the basic techniques, ball handling, dribbling. This is the tool that helps the players to create space and time on the court, because with the ball, the player is limited by the rules with 3 steps only and 3 seconds ball possession. But using the dribbling, he can move more and control the ball for a longer time. In the second type of technique, to catch and to pass, we have the basis for cooperation, because to receive the ball and forward it to another one, this is the basis for cooperation. But now the final basic technical element, the throwing, is really the most important, because with this you realize, or the players realize, the idea of the game. There are some ways in which games and sports can be defined, and there are different types of games. So for instance, we have games like tennis, like badminton, like volleyball, with the 2 teams separated. And the basic idea in this type of game is always give the ball to the other side, and in a way that hopefully they cannot return it to your side of the net. So then you will make a point. So in these games, as I said, tennis, badminton, and others, volleyball as a team sport, you always have the 2 parts or the 2 teams of the game divided by a net. And in that moment, always the ball must go over the net, and on the other side, the team must try to bring it back to your side. So scoring in that moment means to give the ball to the other side so that they cannot bring it back. There's only one game in that category which is a little bit different, but I think it's well known in India. It's squash. This is the only game where the ball has to be returned from one side or one party to the other. But in this game, the 2 teams or the 2 players are in the same court, whereas in all the other games, the players or the teams are separated. Now, handball, basketball, football, hockey, these are games in which the teams are using the same court, and they have each team 1 goal. And their idea is to protect the own goal, attack to the opponent's goal, and throw the ball into the goal of the opponent's team. Difference between basketball and handball, for instance, is that there is no goalkeeper in basketball, whereas in football, in hockey, in handball, we have a goalkeeper, okay? But in general, the idea is to throw, to shoot in any way, to bring the ball to the opponent's goal. So on one side, you need to come close to the opponent's goal by individual movement or by cooperation. That's why we need the dribbling and the passing. But on the other side, it's not enough to invade the opponent's side of the court, because you can stay there and be in possession of the ball, but there is no score from that. The score is made by the time the ball is going into the opponent's goal. And this is why, with this technique, throwing, the idea of the game is realized. And this is why this technique, to throw the ball, is so very important, because every player should be able to do that. If a player in handball is very good in dribbling the ball, very good in pass and catch the ball, but is not able to throw the ball into opponent's goal from a certain distance, from a certain angle, we cannot call him a handball player, because he's missing, he's lacking of the basic technique to realize the idea of the game. Okay, now the last technical element we have here, this will be our presentation which follows tomorrow, is the so-called, or are the so-called basic attack movements. These are technical elements that the players need in the one-on-one situations, like as feinting, moving around to the right and the left side, but they are a little bit different to the three basic elements we prescribed before. We will focus on that tomorrow. Okay, now everyone knows that beginners handball is quite slow because players in beginners level, they really need more time to read the game, to take the relevant information for their decision out of the lot of information that is given on the court. So players from your team, they give some information, I am free, pass the ball to me. Players from opponent's team, they want to intercept. So 6 different moves and 6 different ways of behavior are to be observed. Referee decisions, they give some information to the players, and the coach says something to do this, do that. And the more information on the court, the more the players can get confused. So that's why, to make it easier for the beginners level, try to play in smaller groups, 3 against 3, 4 against 4, because with that you will reduce the number of information, the amount of information, and with that quicker decision making and more effective decision making is possible, because it's easier to find out the relevant information. And from this we can see that the observation and the decision making is very, very important in our game. Handball is a game in which constantly decisions have to be made. And that's why we see a lot of mistakes in decision making. And again, we have other types of mistakes, like technical mistakes, for instance. So if in the throwing, a player is making a technical mistake, then the shoot will be not hard enough, or it will miss the goal. Maybe this is a technical mistake. We will talk about the technical elements in the next chapter. But sometimes we can see that players are taking the decision to shoot from a point far away from the goal, or in a very bad angle to the goal, or in a situation where they are under pressure from the defense, or defense is already in a blocking position. So in that moment, even a technically perfect shot will not go into the goal, because the defense will block or the goalkeeper will save the ball. In that moment, it's a wrong decision to take the shot. So that's why sometimes we have, even in throwing, technical mistakes, but decision-making mistakes too. And please try to differentiate in that moment if the player made a wrong decision, or if he was using the technique in a wrong way. Okay. And again, this is connected with the observation and the perception of the movement and the position of the players on the court, and especially for throwing. In the same way, for breaking through, it's very important to see the gaps in the opponent's defense. So the players that circulate the ball in the positions, they must, on one side, see the gaps, they must search for the gaps, but on the second hand, they must try to use those gaps, maybe with a very quick shot. Try to throw through the gap before the defense is able to close it and to block the ball. If they make this attempt, they will get an answer as a result of this action. Maybe ball is going through and maybe score, or maybe on the other side, defense closes the gap and the ball is blocked. So, but if they get this answer, they can from this learn to and make a transfer to the next situation. And next time they know, okay, this gap is good, or maybe this gap is too small, I cannot shoot. And then they make a better decision to take the shot or not. So if they never use the gaps from a certain moment on, they never will see the gaps, they never will search for that gaps anymore. So especially in the process of educating young players, we must motivate them, we must encourage them, try to use the gaps, try to work out the technical skills from training in competition situation. Make a decision whether to shoot or not. And in that moment, you will get an answer, you will get a response from the opponent's defense. If you never try, you will never know. And this is an aspect which, from my point of view, is really, really important. Sometimes the players are making decisions, and you know this picture already. You see in that scenery a very far gap, wide open, with an open space to break through. Now, from the position of that player in the right back position, from the body movement and the ball on the right hand, on one side we can see she could use that gap easily because she's a right-handed player. On the other side, with the movement of the body, it's obvious that she will move inside. So moving inside in that moment is a wrong decision. Moving straight is, from my point of view, correct decision. And I want the coaches to think in a special way about this. So if, for instance, the player is using this gap, jumping and shooting the ball 100 kilometers per hour at the goal post, not scoring, we must differentiate in our coaching and in our feedback to the players, because the decision to go is really correct. If she misses the shot, okay, please try to shoot in another corner or do something else to bring the ball into the goal. But don't criticize the movement to go straight, because this movement is correct. Very often we can see that coaches, they want to see a tactical move or something like this, and the player is moving inside and not straight. And if she's moving straight, they criticize if she misses. So the decision to go is one thing. The execution of the shooting is the second thing. And good coaches, they should differentiate in that way. So that's why even in the development of the throwing technique, we have to combine technique and perception. Give the players task to observe the defense, make the defense or create situations in which the defense is a little bit active, so that they must make a decision against that defense whether to shoot or not. Give them the chance to decide according to the situation and try to create situations and demands like in the game. This is the combination of technique and perception, and this can be realized in the well-known three-step concept, methodical concept of teaching the techniques. So first step is basic drills to learn the techniques, use easy conditions, and use simply variations of the throwing movements. Second step is combine this with observation and perception. So make the implementation of the techniques in an unaware way. Use optical signals, tasks of perception for the players. In throwing, this is really always the gap, and this is depending with decision, shoot or not shoot. So you will see some example in our practical examples today. on the other side, it's a little bit connected with that basic attack movements, which we will introduce tomorrow. So then you will see how everything comes together. And the last step is here, do that with an active opponent. So make the defense variate their activity so that a situative variation of the techniques is required from the players in attack. These are the 3 steps of the methodical way of teaching the techniques. Okay, now if we come to chapter number 2 and the variations of the throwing, then we see a basic or 2 basic elements which are really standard. They are the key points of the throwing movement. First, elbow must be on or above shoulder height. Second, when the ball is going back in the return point of the throwing movement, the wrist is behind the elbow. So you can see that in a very nice picture here from a former German national player while jumping. So you see the ball is now here. This is the return point of the throwing movement. From here, acceleration towards the goal starts. So the arm is taken back, and from here, accelerate the ball towards opponent's goal. And in this moment, you can see the 2 key points. First is elbow over the shoulder, see it here. And the second is the wrist is behind the elbow. And these 2 key points, they are connected with each other, because you can try this at home, at your computer now. If the elbow is lower than the shoulder, it's almost impossible to bring the wrist behind the elbow. This is not possible. But if you lift your arm and the elbow is over the shoulder, then you can extend the arm to the position where the wrist is behind the elbow. And this is the definition of throwing. If in a movement, the wrist, or in a movement to accelerate a ball, if the wrist is in front of the elbow, it's a pushing movement. So this is the difference between to push and to throw. Pushing means wrist in front of elbow, like we have it in track and field for the pole vault, and on the other side, throwing is wrist behind the elbow, like we have it in handball, like we have it in javelin and track and field. So that's the difference. From the 2 positions, wrist in front of elbow and wrist behind elbow, you can see that in the throwing movement, there's a long way of accelerating the ball, whereas in the pushing movement, wrist in front of elbow, there's only a short moment or short distance of accelerating the ball. So that's why in that moment, throwing is much more tough than only pushing the ball. And these 2 elements, these 2 key points of the throwing movement, they are the same in every type of throwing. So no matter whether the players are jumping from the ground, shooting from the ground, whether they are shooting from the air while jumping, whether they are shooting from a backward position, from the pivot position, from the wing position, while falling or not, every time these 2 elements are really the same. So some small variations, but basically they are the same. All the other parts of the body, you can see, and you will see it in the videos that we will present, there is a wide range of variations. So jumping on the ground can be done with left leg in front for right-handed player, right leg in front for right-handed player, even in a parallel position. The players are shooting nowadays very fast. So what's happening below the hips, what's happening with the legs when they are on the ground, it doesn't matter. There's a real variability. Jumping in the air with left leg, with right leg, with both legs from different positions. It's so variable, so we cannot say that this is the correct way and this is the correct way. Especially if we see that in handball, it's not the question whether the technique is worked out in a 100% style. What we have to see is whether finally the ball is going inside the goal. So even with some, let's say, mistakes in the movement, a player can be successful. So that's why we should not focus too much on all those elements. Now this is the right position of the legs, this is the right position of the rotation of the body, and so on. The only two single elements which are really important are the two key points prescribed in this slide here: elbow above the shoulder height and wrist behind the elbow in the return point of the throwing movement. Now, if we look for the variations, we will find different variations according to the starting of the movement of the throwing movement itself, and this is what we will find on this slide here. So, for instance, players can use a different number of steps before they shoot. So shooting with 1, with 2, with 3 steps is possible. But as you can imagine, 3 steps always are taking time and space. So reducing the number of steps, shooting faster, is much more effective in the game. So that's why, and you will see that in the practical demonstration afterwards, or in the examples, that's why from the beginning, we should not focus on the full 3-step rhythm of the players, because then they adapt this rhythm, and it's always left, right, left, and then step shot, or left, right, left, jump shot, and then they depend on these 3 steps in the game. If we want to educate them in a way which is helpful for the game, we must teach them from the beginning to use less steps and shoot faster. Second is the different directions of movement. So the movement of the players can be a straight movement or a curve movement towards the goal. Please always think back to basic position of the defender. It's between opponent and goal. So the straight movement means you go to the opponent. The curve movement means you go to the gap, and then maybe you can shoot. But the gap is on the side of the throwing arm, but the gap is on the other side too. So in that moment, 2 types of shootings are resulting out of these curved movements. Third is that the players should be able to throw after a dribbling. They can dribble with the right hand and shoot with the right hand, but they can even dribble with the left hand and shoot with the right hand. So no matter from which side the ball is coming, right hand dribbling or left hand dribbling, they must be able to execute the throwing very fast. And the same is with the passing. Receiving the pass from the right side, shooting, receiving the pass from the left side and shooting. This must be worked out in the training. In that moment, again, the coach should know that receiving the ball from the throwing arm side, normally the right side of the players, it is much easier to come to the shooting position. So in that moment, this will be the first step for the most, or for the most players in the team. Go on the right side, pass and back, receiving and taking back the arm on the right side. But then, to make it a little bit more demanding, take the position on the other side, pass from the left, rotate, and then shoot to the goal. So this is the way in a small methodical elements we have to build it up. Later on, the players need to use the different variations of the arm. So non-shooting is coming from a high arm, but around the defense, you can use the low arm. You can extend the arm to the throwing arm side, which is really important for wing players to open the angle to the goal. You can do that to the right side, to the left side. You can make a quick or a late movement of the arm. You can use the lob, the spin, and all those elements later on, the variations of the throwing arm movement. And finally, one type of variation is quite important, even in the educating of the young players. It's variations of the corners of the goal, because there are 4 corners: top, right, and down, top, right, and left, down, right, and left. So 4 corners are given. But very often you can see that players are using 1 corner only. We call this chocolate corner, because they love the ball, let's say, for instance, to the top right corner, hit the goalpost and go inside. And they had this once, and they are so happy with that they try again and again and again, always score to that corner of the goal. But if they, in training, always use that corner, what will they do in the competition? They will always use this corner only too. So in that moment, maybe a goalkeeper or a coach of the opponent's team is clever and realizes that the player is limited to shooting to one. The goalkeeper will catch the ball easily, save the ball easily, or the defense will block the shot because there's no variation from the attacker. So in that moment, no success. That's why even in the training, we as coaches have to observe the players. We have to see if one of them, 2 of them are using same corners only, and then we have to enforce them to shoot to the different corners. Sometimes we give them special tasks like 5 repetitions from that position in a special variation. But in these 5 variations, at least 1 repetition must be to each corner of the goal. So this is 4. At number 5, you can shoot where you want to. But with that instruction, you give them the task to not only focus on one idea, but at least once to the different corners of the goal. Okay, let's go into a first example of a famous player. Now he's retired. At that time he was 24 years old. It's Joachim Bolsen, former national player from Danish national team. And we can see him here in different ways of throwing. So this is the player. And now you can see in that moment from the center back position, jumping to the left side, but again, arm is up. So this is all elbow over the shoulder and wrist behind the elbow. This is the throwing movement from that player here. The same very quick shooting from the left back position. You see here now, right leg in front. He's shooting from the ground. Ball is here, defense is away from him. Shooting so fast that defense cannot react. And again, you see, stretching the arm here, elbow over the shoulder. This is example for the key points of our throwing movement. Now in the next, he's in the right back position. After bouncing, shooting here. So you can see it from the back, jumping again, but now from both legs to the left side around the defense. Now stretching the arm and shooting here. A diving shot. And again, arm is up. After contact, coming here, hope you could see it, arm is up, shooting in that position. Here we are. So elbow, shoulder, wrist, this is the position. So in the next one, you see one-on-one movement from the backcourt, diving through after the feinting, bouncing, arm up, shooting. And to the gap between first and second defender, to the outside gap. Not a very nice action because the defender in the wing position suffers a little bit, but still arm is up and shooting. Again, from very far away, shooting, arm is up. And the last one, it's a very nice one, to the left side. And again, block at 9 meters and shooting around the defense. So from these pictures or from these video sequences, you could see shooting from the ground, in the air, right leg in front, left leg in front, right leg, left leg, both legs jumping, diving through different positions, center back, right back, left back, variability in positions, variability in actions. But the throwing movement is always connected with the two key points: elbow over shoulder, wrist behind elbow. Now, the basic element of shooting is always the step shot. And a step shot is a complex movement of the whole body. So we have these elements, like we prescribed them before, elbow and shoulder, the key points. But on the other side, we have to see two more elements which are important for the step shot. One is the step with the left leg in front, normally first, to stop the body and then accelerate the body towards the goal over that step shot position here. Second is the rotation in the body, in the upper part of the body. Now right shoulder behind, left shoulder in front. And then you will see the rotation at the end. So now the body is moving over the left leg and the right hand is swinging to the left side of the body. So these are the elements of the shooting technique step shot, which make it a tough shot, because these three elements are coming together: stepping, rotating, and finally pull the arm from the return point and swing it fully to the other side. So, and if these three elements come together, then the players can realize a very strong throwing, a very tough shoot, not because of their muscles in the arm or in the body, but because of the combination of the three elements: the step, the rotation, and the swing of the arm. And this is what we should educate from the technical side for the young players. Okay. Afterwards, we can see some variations again. So, for instance, see the center back player here, feinting, searching for the gap, but finally find the gap and shoot. So she's moving on the position and now shooting, and very important, shoot to the down corner of the goal. Because this is the basic idea in handball, tough shoot to the down corner of the goal. It's easier for the players in attack to shoot to the down corners because the goalkeepers cannot save the ball as easy as with the hands. Shooting from the air and bring the ball. So and now
कर दिया फिर बार-बार कर रहा है कौन कर रहा है
direction of running in. So the way is now not straight but to the right, and shooting is now to the left because the block is coming. So, and these are the small variations we discussed from the beginning. Always try to come in a different position by change the movement or change the way of direction you move to the goal. And once again, from the air and down to the bottom of the goal. Now, for the boys, here, some variation of this tall player coming around, shooting at the side of the defense here. So, right leg is more or less in front, arm is at the side. So to have this situation, to shoot free around the defender, and goalkeeper can see the ball very late. And again here, you see some variation of quick shooting. It's a mix, let's say, or it's just at the start of the jumping movement, but he's not taking the jump to the top position and then shooting over the defense. He's immediately shooting around again. And for sure, the goalkeeper has a problem to see that ball. He's too late. So once again, basically to shoot to the left side over the defense, stretch the arm, find the gap, and then shoot to the top corner. Okay. Now, in modern top handball, you can see a lot of players using very quick shots meanwhile. So, and this is something which is a little bit different type of shooting technique. Whereas the players we saw before were using a long arm, now, because of the special athletics here, the players are shooting more from the muscles and the strength they have and the power they have in the upper part of the body. But you can see this is much faster. And this is the important situation here. So, as you can see in this picture, no step shot. It's a parallel position of both legs. Stretch the body and shoot very quick. So they don't use the space, they don't use the steps, and they don't need space, and they don't come close to the defense. So they can shoot earlier, and they can shoot without contact from the defense side. And this helps very much to make it a quick and successful shot. Especially according to or in combination with the special rule of forewarning signal for passive play, the players now need to have quick solutions in attack, like here in a free throw or after a free throw situation, and then shoot very fast. Another very attractive element is shooting variations, like we see it here from Korea against tall defenders from Germany, because this player, he never will be able to jump over that tall defender. So he must find a way around him, and goalkeeper cannot see the ball. So again, it's technical variation on one side, but speed on the other side. And there are so many players, left back, right back, but especially center back position, that can execute a step shot very quick and very tough. So that's why I like step shot very much, because you have so many options. It's the toughest shoot, it's the fastest shoot, and it's the shoot with the maximum number of variations you have. So, and again, you see it here. Ball is going to the other side. Move, step, and by the time the defense is with you, immediately the shot is made. This is a very strong one from Danish player. So you can see if those players are coming close enough to the goal against the defensive defense, almost no chance for the defense to block because they are so fast, and almost no chance for the goalkeeper to see the ball. Around the hip of the defender, perfectly done. And these are elements which we love really very much in handball because they are so nice to see. Okay, now let's step over to the last example, the last category, the examples for drills. If we come back to the basic elements, the key points of the movement, we have to see that those two elements, elbow, wrist, shoulder, this combination is always given in every type of shot. So this is the basic element we have to develop first. And we can do this in very easy and very simple way from running. So in the first step, we want the players to shoot with both hands, because in that moment, when they take up the ball over the head, now at least elbow will be in the right position. So the basic idea is here to run and to continuously run and shoot from the ground. So we can see it once again here. Take the ball up, and from here, with both hands, accelerate the ball towards the goal. If the players can do this, then in the next step, they have to do it with one hand only. So moving, running, and then lift up the ball to this position and continue the running movement. Don't make a step, don't stop, don't waste energy and concentration on the lower part of the body. Just focus on that element, which is the most important element. So the question is, which part of the body is the most important for the throwing movement? And obviously, it's the movement of the arm. As you could see from all those variations in the videos before, the movement of the legs whether the right leg is in front, the left leg is in front, whether they are moving from running or from stepping. It doesn't matter, because finally at the end in the game, they can make a lot of variations with this. But this element is the one in the beginner's level we have to focus on. So that's why this should be done first. Running, taking back, and accelerating the ball in that way. Very nice. So don't make a jump in that. You can see the mistake here. This is what we want to avoid. Now in the next step, by the time this upper part of the movement of the throwing arm is adapted in a nice way, then we can focus on the steps for the step shot. Now, as we see here, this is a methodical way how to teach this. Players making a short step out, step in, and now it's left contact, then right contact, and left contact again. And in that moment, sorry. And in that moment, you can see how they rotate and how they shoot. So out, in, and then execute and throw. Once again, now left leg in front, arm is up. So from this position, we have a good movement of the arm. Once again, out, in, and shoot. So don't do that from running, because this is something which happens very often, that the players don't find the correct rhythm for the players. It's pop, pop, pop. So with the last two steps, you have to accelerate, making a feint in the nice way. This is not enough. And then left in front and shoot. So once again, a good one. So out, in, and now the steps. Now you can see the rotation. Now you can see the arm up, and you can see him shooting. In the same way, we can do this with a so-called double feint movement, left out, and forward for the shooting. So here's a small mistake again. You see the jumping of that player on the right leg. Now right, right, left. And this is what we want to avoid. So please be aware of these mistakes and try to avoid them with your players. And here we go. Okay. Now in the next step, the players doing a similar movement, but now shooting as a right-handed player with the right leg in front. They are using side steps between the bricks, left, right, and then go in front and shoot over the right leg. So you can see it now, left in front, right in front, and then they shoot. And right in front. So you can see now the rotation in the upper part of the body, because right leg is now in front and not back. But from this, they create a certain type of tension in the body. And now the ball is up, the arm is in a correct position. And from here, they can accelerate the ball very fast to the goal. So this is basic variation now, right leg in front for right-handed players. And we go. And in the next step, we want to do the players this very fast, no matter whether right or left leg is in front. So in this drill, now they're using the side steps, right, left, and by the time the partner is touching them, then with maximum 2 steps, better would be with only 1 step, they must go for the goal shot from the ground. And quick shooting now. So this is something which is an adaptation, or the way to adapt them to the different techniques in a very fast way, because in game situation, we need this very quick shooting. Okay. Now, as you can see, very many of these variations, they depend on quick stepping. So, and this is something which is really important for the coaches to know, that good attacking depends on good step work. So the faster the players can move forward, sideward, backward, it helps them to come to a good step shot position too. And this is something which is related to our first instruction of handball. So the very first slide you saw in our first presentation, handball is a game which is played with the head and the legs. So good step work is not only needed in defense, it's also needed in attack. And here you can see how quick they make the movements around the brick, and then quick go for the shooting. With the feinting movement, it's the same, similar to like we saw it before. So they take the position between the 2 bricks, and then from that position, they start in a constant side. I should move now. Okay, video is not running. I'm sorry about that. Let's go back and start it once again. Now it's going. Okay. Make those movements to the right, to the left. And then after signal from coach, step forward and make the goal shot. So quick legs and shooting. And make some feint with the passing, and then go for the shooting. And now with this player, follow the hand of the throwing arm, and you will see it's going completely around the body. So this makes the shooting very tough. Another variation with the 2 bricks is forward, backward move, left bounce, right shoot. So you can see the players moving here, bouncing left, and then go to the right hand shoot with the left leg in front. Once again, left bounce and shooting right. Left-handed player, right bounce, shooting left. And once again, circulate and then accelerate towards the goal. So this is always very important, to have an acceleration towards the goal. Tack, and now you shoot. This is what we want. Okay. Now the last one, it's a simple situation we build up. It's a 2 against 1 in the first variation. Space is limited. And the 2 players, they have to shoot from 9 meters. But they must move forward, backward, And in this movement, observe the defender, because they can only shoot if defender is not touching them. So in that moment, now defender must try to touch the player. If not, give the ball. And finally, when they are free, without getting a touch, they can shoot. So in that moment, they always must make the decision whether to shoot or not. And the same is here now with 3 against 2, draw the defense. Defense can come. If there's no touch, you can shoot. If there's a touch, you can pass. And the next one the same, and the next one the same. So in their position, the players must move forward, downward, upward, forward, and try to draw the defense, pass to the next, and this one must decide whether he can shoot or forward the ball again. So then we have step 3 of our methodical 3-step concept. It's now variations of the throwing from the ground, of the step shot throwing, but depending on opponent's behavior. Okay, now boys, let's move. Draw the defense and shoot. Very nice. Pass, draw the defense, tack, tack, and don't go too far open. Okay, and try it again. So defense is here, and then with a very short acceleration, they must finalize the shot. So in that way, we build up the throwing technique in the backward positions in that way, especially from the ground. But from my point of view, this is the really basic element of shooting, of throwing in handball. All the other elements, shooting from the back, from the air, jumping shot, shooting from the wing, they will come later in the process of educating the players. Okay, end of the presentation, and coming to the questions. So, good morning. So, 6 different ways to be taught the beginners for. Okay, I've never been speaking about 6 different ways, sorry. Okay. You saw the different types of drills we had, and then you can adapt those types to the 3 steps of methodical ways. No, throwing as a feint. This is part of our presentation tomorrow. Let us know some techniques of lob spin and camper tricks. No, sorry, I don't have it now. We had this demonstration in the step shot from the step. Okay, so verbally. So this is the slide for the throwing technique again. So you can see here, when the player is coming down, now she's making the left step in front, right step is behind, body is rotated so that the left hand is guiding towards the goal and the right shoulder is back. Now, right arm could be stretched a little bit more. Left leg is put it on the ground, knee is fixed but not completely stretched. It's slightly bent. So that's very important here in that situation, that the knee is not stretched completely, but there's a small ankle in the knee here. So in that moment, this is the position from which you start to accelerate the ball towards the goal. Now, the right hip and the right part of the body are coming in front. The wrist, the upper part of the body is rotating. And in that moment, the arm is pulled towards the goal. So these are the elements of the throwing. Okay. Come back. To shoot from extended arm, basically for the young players, yes, it's okay to shoot from the long arm because of a lack of power. They need to shoot with a proper technique, and then they need to have a long guidance of the arm for a long acceleration of the ball. So this is really helpful in that moment, this long acceleration of the ball. But the more you come to top level or higher level, they need to shoot with more speed, and then only the long arm is taking too much time. So then please try to shoot faster, or teach them to shoot faster. Or feints while throwing, no. Can we shoot the ball to score by doing the cross running of javelin throw? Yes, I know the movement you're thinking of. It's a movement of the right leg behind the left leg for right-handed player. Possibly, yes, because this helps to have a good rotation of the upper part of the body. But in principle, we have to see that in that moment, always the 3 steps are needed, and that this takes time and space, so defense can interfere in a good way. Okay, so there is no specific element of shooting variations from wings. In that moment, you saw the presentation about the players in the wings, the players in the backcourt, and the player in the positions. It was Thursday last week, the Indian skills. So please go back to that presentation and see how the top international players are doing that. Okay, so thank you very much for all your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klaus. Mr. Klaus?
Yes,
Thank
I'm
you.
here.
Thank you very much. Again, another interesting topic from the series of topics, really knowledgeable, useful also for future of handball, for the development of handball. Hope that we will do it and we will implement during the training in India also. Whenever we will get a chance to go abroad to train any country team, then our coaches will do and remember you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again.
See you tomorrow for basic attack movements.
Thank you. Have a good day, please.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So now we will discuss this in Hindi about this 2 days लेसन। आई थिंक ये जो था थ्रोइंग, इसने क्लाउस फेल्डमैन ने इसको 3 पार्ट्स में बांट दिया है कि टेक्निक्स क्या है, उसकी डेफिनेशन, फिर इसमें वेरिएशंस कौन कौन सी हैं, फिर ड्रिल्स हैं एग्जांपल के लिए जो इसने हमें दी हैं। सो इसका कहना है कि टेक्निक्स जब हम सीखते हैं तो वी हैव टू कीप द आर्म मूवमेंट अबव द शोल्डर हाइट एंड अबव द हेड हाइट। तो उसमें जब हम थ्रो बच्चे को सिखाते हैं, जब वो बिगिनर है, तो लेग्स मूवमेंट और बॉडी मूवमेंट पे कंसंट्रेट नहीं करेंगे। ये हम याद रखेंगे आगे से भी कि उसका लेफ्ट कहाँ जाता है, राइट कहाँ जाता है, बट वी हैव टू मेक मास्टरी इन थ्रोइंग अबव द शोल्डर एंड अबव द हेड हाइट, बिकॉज उसने हमें एक डेनिश प्लेयर की जो मूवमेंट थी वो दिखाई थी कि वो कैसे रॉन्ग साइड में, लेफ्ट साइड में राइट को फेंट करके जाता है और वो थ्रो गोल करता है। उसका जो रिस्ट है वो बॉल के नीचे आ जाता है। उसने ये बोला है कि अगर आपकी शोल्डर हाइट से कम हाइट है आर्म की, चेस्ट की तरफ है, तो आपका जो रिस्ट है वो पीछे बेंड नहीं होगा। सो वी विल टेक केयर ऑफ दैट। दूसरा उसने कहा कि जो पैरामिड उसने पहले दिखाया कि जब हम अटैक स्टार्ट करते हैं, जैसे हमारे प्लेयर कई बार फास्ट ब्रेक के लिए भी जाते हैं, तो अगर वो फास्ट ब्रेक पॉसिबल नहीं है तो गोलकीपर अपने प्लेयर को बॉल देता है, फिर वो इंडिविजुअली स्टार्ट करता है, फिर सेंटर में आके हमारा ग्रुप प्रैक्टिस मीन cooperation of 2 or 3 players. When we reach to the opponent's court, then a team. So in that he has divided that ball handling, catching, passing, throwing and basic attack movements. तो उसने कहा कि बॉल हैंडलिंग जो है ये इंडिविजुअल है, ड्रिबलिंग इंडिविजुअल है, फिर हमारी कॉपरेशन है जिसमें कैच पास आ जाएगा, फिर जो थ्रोइंग है वो कहता है दिस इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर in handball that we have to put the ball into the opponent's goal. So basic attacking movements में उसने ऐड कर दिया है कि you have to apply फेंट के साथ आप डिस्टेंस को कवर करेंगे और प्लेयर को बीट करेंगे। फिर उसने ये बोला है कि जब उसने एक डेफिनेशन दिखाई थी कि प्लेयर जब अटैक में जाता है, गेम खेलता है, तो वो अल्टरनेटिव मूवमेंट्स, अल्टरनेटिव वेज, अल्टरनेटिव टेक्निक्स यूज करता है। वो इसलिए करता है कि जैसे उसने लेफ्ट को फेंट किया और उसका प्लेयर जो डिफेंसिव प्लेयर है वो लेफ्ट को चला जाता है उसको स्टॉप करने के लिए, फिर उसके पास अल्टरनेटिव क्या है, वो राइट फुट फॉरवर्ड करता है, बाउंस मारता है और चला जाता है। अगर आपके पास अल्टरनेटिव मूवमेंट्स नहीं हैं, आप यू आर ए मास्टर ऑफ वन मूवमेंट, देन यू विल बी कॉट। जैसे हम पिवट को सिखाते हैं कि पिवट जब रिसीव करता है लेफ्ट को फेंट मारेगा, राइट को जाएगा। अगर उसके पास फेंट नहीं है तो उसके लिए डिफेंसिव प्लेयर के लिए इजी हो जाएगा, उसके लिए मुश्किल हो जाएगा। अगर उसको प्लेयर लेफ्ट साइड पे पकड़ता है तो वो राइट साइड रन फ्री करता है। ऐसे ही बैक प्लेयर हैं, ऐसे ही विंग हैं, विंग लेफ्ट को फेंट करता है और वो राइट को जाता है। सो अल्टरनेटिव मूवमेंट्स को यूज करना बहुत जरूरी है और अल्टरनेटिव वे। उसने बोला कि आप स्ट्रेट भी जा सकते हैं, आप कर्व में भी जा सकते हैं। सो सबसे बेटर उसने जो बताया है कि आप जब आपकी गोल मिसिंग होती है, कई बार क्या होता है पास मिस होता है, वो ये नहीं है कि आपकी मोटर कैपेबिलिटी, मोटर एबिलिटी जो है वो वीक हो गई या आप थक गए हैं, तो मोस्टली हम डिसीजन मेकिंग में गलती कर जाते हैं। जैसे हमारे को पेनल्टी मिलती है, हमारे पास टाइम होता है, कई बार हमारा कोच टाइम आउट ले लेता है, टीम टाइम आउट ले लेता है, लास्ट टाइम है, हमें 1 मिनट का रेस्ट मिल गया, हमने पानी भी पी लिया, हमने रिकवरी ले ली और हम पेनल्टी लेने चले गए, मगर पेनल्टी बाहर चली गई या गोल कीपर के लगी, डिफेंड हो गई, तो वहां आपकी मोटर एबिलिटी तो वीक नहीं हुई, आपने एनर्जी ड्रिंक भी ले ली, वहां क्या हुआ कि आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग जो था वो गलत हो गया। आपने सोचा मैं इधर मारूंगा, तो वो गोलकीपर इधर ही चला जाता है और रोक लेता है। वो 4 मीटर पे आ जाता है, आप बोलते हैं कि मैं लॉब करूंगा, आप लॉब करते हैं तो बॉल गोल पोस्ट के ऊपर से चली जाती है। मीन यू हैव द एप्लीकेशन ऑफ फोर्स एंड डिसीजन मेकिंग फॉर दैट प्लेयर इज रॉन्ग। सो कई बार आप पीपी को बॉल देना चाहते हैं, आप राइट पे बॉल देते हैं, बॉल इंटरसेप्ट हो जाता है। उसमें स्टार्टिंग में भी हो जाता है जब आपकी एनर्जी वेस्ट भी नहीं होती। to your motor abilities, your player is fit, you have sufficient strength, sufficient stamina, but that time also you go for miss pass. वो मिस पास होने का रीजन क्या है कि डिसीजन मेकिंग में गलती होती है, कि हम सोच कुछ रहे होते हैं, पीछे से हमें प्लेयर बोलता है कि मैं फ्री हूं मुझे दे देना, हम उसके कहने पे उसको बॉल दे देते हैं तो बॉल रास्ते में इंटरसेप्ट हो जाती है. सो ऑलवेज वी हैव टू अप्रिशिएट, वी हैव टू हेल्प द प्लेयर टू टेक डिसीजन ड्यूरिंग द ट्रेनिंग एज वेल एज इन द मैच. उसको इंडिपेंडेंट खेलने दो. उसने कहा है कि यू एजुकेट योर यंग प्लेयर. उनको जब हम सिखाते हैं तो वो गैप में जाते हैं, कई बार उनको बॉल नहीं मिलता, कई बार वो लेट पहुंच जाते हैं, करेक्ट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम नहीं होता, कई बार वो जल्दी पहुंच जाते हैं, बॉल नहीं आती, हम उनको गाली निकालते हैं. वो बोलता है कि बच्चों को गैप में रन फ्री करने दीजिए, बॉल के साथ जाने दीजिए. अगर वो गलती भी करते हैं तो उसको आप एजुकेट करिए, आप उसमें इंटरवेंस करिए, एंड उसको यू हैव टू मेक देम एबल टू टेक डिसीजन एट देयर ओन. गेम में कोच जो है वो आपके कहने पे या मैच के दौरान जब वो लूज कर रहा है तो वो टाइम आउट ले लेता है, मगर गेम में जो डिसीजन लेना है वो प्लेयर ने लेना है, वो कोच ने नहीं लेना. अटैक में भी आपने लेना है, डिफेंस में भी. अल्टरनेटिव मूवमेंट्स, अल्टरनेटिव डिसीजन, अल्टरनेटिव वे, अल्टरनेटिव टेक्निक्स, ये डिफेंस में भी आपने यूज करनी है और अटैक में भी आपने यूज करनी है. कोच इज ओनली टू हेल्प यू फॉर टेकिंग टीम टाइम आउट. सो जब प्लेयर खुद ही डिसीजन लेने के लायक हो जाता है, खुद ही अपनी प्रॉब्लम को मैच के दौरान सॉल्व करने की कैपेसिटी रख लेता है, तो वो टीम नहीं हारती, वो टीम जीतती है. फॉर दैट यू नीड मोर टाइम. सो इसने फिर ये बताया कि जो प्ले है उसको हमने पहले इजियर एक्सरसाइज देनी है. बिल्कुल पहले वन स्टेप, नॉट रनिंग, जस्ट वॉकिंग, देन रनिंग. आपने देखा कि उसने बहुत से डंडे बिछाए थे, जिसको हम डंडे बोल देते हैं, मगर वो फोम ब्रिक्स होती हैं, वो जो सोफे के अंदर से फोम निकलता है उसको पीसेस में काट के रखता है. उससे क्या होता है कि प्लेयर को इंजरी नहीं होती. सो उसको फोम ब्रिक्स बोलते हैं. हम भी ये यूज करेंगे और ये कॉस्टली नहीं है. कहीं भी आप सोफे वाली शॉप पे जाइए, वहां आपको पुराना फोम मिल जाएगा, उससे आप पीसेस कटवा लीजिए और बच्चों में यूज करिए. वो ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ और बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके के साथ उसको यूज करेंगे. देयर विल बी नो चांस ऑफ इंजरी. सो फोम ब्रिक्स यूज करना बहुत अच्छी बात है. फिर उसने बोला कि जो प्लेयर है इजियर कंडीशन में, पहले आप उसे बॉल दीजिए, वो कैच करेगा तो थ्रो ऑन करेगा. सिर्फ ओनली डिजाइन फ्यू एक्सरसाइजेस, स्पेशल एक्सरसाइज. आफ्टर रिसीविंग द बॉल वो सिर्फ थ्रो करेगा, वो कोई और एक्शन नहीं करेगा. वन स्टेप थ्रो, टू स्टेप थ्रो, थ्री स्टेप थ्रो. फिर उसके बाद आप उसमें जो दूसरी एक्सरसाइज डिजाइन करेंगे वो फेंट के साथ कर दो. वो रिसीव करेगा, वो फेंट करेगा, चाहे वो लेफ्ट को करे, राइट को करे, डबल फेंट करे, टर्न ऑफ करे. सो उसको पहले स्टैंडिंग में, मतलब इन वॉकिंग मैनर, 3 स्टेप, 1 स्टेप, 2 स्टेप, फिर उसको फेंट के साथ. फिर उसने कहा इसको और कॉम्प्लिकेट करने के लिए और इस पे के ऊपर इसको अप्लाई करने के लिए आप कैच के बाद ड्रिबल के साथ जाएंगे. कई बार आप डीप डिफेंडर हैं, आप 5-1 डिफेंस में खेलते हैं, आप बॉल को इंटरसेप्ट करते हैं, तो आप सिर्फ उस डिस्टेंस को ड्रिबल से ही कवर कर सकते हैं 1-0 सिचुएशन में, जब आगे आपके कोई डिफेंडर नहीं है. तो डिफेंड उसने उस दिन भी बोला था कि जब आप ड्रिबल करते हैं तो आप नीचे नहीं देखेंगे, तो यू हैव टू कवर द डिस्टेंस इन मिनिमम टाइम. तो उसके बाद फिर वो कहता है कि इसको और कॉम्प्लिकेट करिए. इसके बाद जब ये तीनों में मास्टरी कर लेगा, कैच, फेंट, ड्रिबल. जैसे आप 11 मीटर पे हैं, 10 मीटर पे हैं, प्लेयर को आगे बुलाइए, फेंट करिए, वो फेंट खाएगा, 1 बाउंस मारिए, 1 बाउंस इज आल्सो ए ड्रिबल. फिर आप जंप शूट करिए, जंप शूट लॉन्ग और जंप शूट हाई. फिर उसके बाद फिफ्थ जो है स्पेशल एक्शन ऑफ द प्लेयर, वो कैच, ड्रिबल, फेंट, थ्रो ऑन गोल है. फिर उसके बाद कैच, फेंट, ड्रिबल, फेंट, वो पास के लिए भी है और आज ये थ्रो ऑन गोल के लिए है. तो उसने बोला कि जो आप ड्रिल करते हैं कि पहले आप जो बिगिनर है उसको दोनों हाथों से बॉल को सिर के ऊपर ले जाके एल्बो को थोड़ा बेंड करके वाइल रनिंग, वाइल स्टैंडिंग आप थ्रो करेंगे. दोनों बाजुओं की जो मूवमेंट है उसमें अडेप्टेशन लाएंगे. फिर आप सिंगल हैंड करेंगे, फिर आप लेफ्ट राइट लेफ्ट फेंट करेंगे। सो जैसे आप देखते हैं कि हमारी इंडिया में भी जो वीनू लड़का है छत्तीसगढ़ में, वो दोनों पैरों के ऊपर लेके जंप करता है, उसकी आदत है। सो आपको लेफ्ट फुट फॉरवर्ड करके भी जंप लेना है, राइट फुट पे भी आप वेरिएशन कर सकते हो, आप दोनों फुट पे भी कर सकते हो। सो ये जरूरी नहीं है कि हमने लेफ्ट राइट लेफ्ट ही बच्चे को सिखाना है। आप देखते हैं कि जो विंग प्लेयर है जो 7 पे है या लेफ्ट राइट विंग है 5 पे, वो कई बार लेफ्ट पे भी टेक ऑफ लेता है और लेफ्ट पे लैंड करता है, कई बार वो राइट पे टेक ऑफ लेता है और राइट पे ही लैंड करता है। मगर ये बहुत कम लोग हैं इंडिया में जो दोनों पांव यूज करते हैं विंग में। मगर क्या है कि एक तो हम गेम लेट स्टार्ट करते हैं, दूसरा अगर हम स्टार्ट करते हैं अर्ली, जैसे एसटीसी सेंटर्स हैं, एकेडमीज हैं, तो उसमें हमें दोनों ही मूवमेंट्स के लिए, दोनों ही टेक ऑफ के लिए ट्रेनिंग करवानी चाहिए। मगर क्या होता है कि कई बार हमें ऐसा होता है कि हमने जल्दी करा के मेडल भी लेना होता है, वो हमारे लिए अच्छा भी होता है, बट इट विल टेक मोर टाइम फॉर द एडेप्टेशन ऑफ दैट टेक्निक। सो मोस्टली प्लेयर को जो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वो बता रहा है कि डिसीजन मेकिंग में आपने उनको ज्यादा टीच करना है कि वो जब भी खेलें तो वो डिसीजन मेक करें। कहाँ, जैसे उसने कॉर्नर दिखाया है कि गोल की जो शूटिंग है वो कॉर्नर में होती है, लेफ्ट राइट डाउनवर्ड, वो कब होगी? जब आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग ठीक होगा। आप लेफ्ट कॉर्नर में मारते हैं तो बॉल बाहर चली जाती है, कई बार गोलकीपर आगे आ जाता है। सो जब आप देखते हैं कि कोच हमें इशारा कर देता है, सीनियर प्लेयर इशारा कर देता है कि भाई नीचे मारना नीचे मारना, तो वो प्लेयर के दिमाग में एक कंसेप्ट आ जाता है कि इस बार मैं नीचे मारूंगा, मगर उसमें गोलकीपर ज्यादा डिसीजन मेकिंग हो जाता है तो वो गोल को सेव कर लेता है। So the player who is concentrating more and learning more in decision making during the training and during the competition too. ये नहीं है कि हमने कंपटीशन में ही इसको डिसीजन मेकिंग करना है। सो जैसे हम लाइफ के डिसीजन लेते हैं, हमने लाइफ में क्या करना है, बच्चों का क्या करवाना है, ऐसे ही जब हम गेम खेलते हैं तो जब हम अटैक को बिल्डअप करते हैं तो हमने ये सोचना ही है कि जो मेरा डिसीजन है वो गलत ना हो। जितने भी इंटरसेप्ट्स बॉल होती हैं, जितने भी रॉन्ग इन्फ्रिंजमेंट होती हैं, जितने भी रेड कार्ड होते हैं, ये डिसीजन मेकिंग में होते हैं। अगर आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग ओके है तो आप बहुत ही एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी हैंडबॉल प्लेयर हैं। सो आज का जो टॉपिक था वो थ्रो पे था। हम भी डिफरेंट थ्रो जानते हैं कि टेक्निक्स की वेरिएशन क्या है, जंप शूट हाई है, जंप शूट लॉन्ग है, हिप थ्रो है, फॉल शॉट है, जंप फॉल शॉट है, साइड स्टेट शॉट है, लॉब है, स्पिन है। सो देयर आर डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ, एंड मोस्टली दीज टेक्निक्स आर यूज्ड बाय द डिफरेंट प्लेयर ऑन डिफरेंट पोजीशंस। अगर स्पिन है तो वो मोस्टली विंग प्लेयर यूज करता है, मगर ये नहीं है कि बैक प्लेयर को हमने सिखाना नहीं है। सपोज कल को पोजीशन चेंज में 4 जो है वो 7 पे चला जाता है, 7 4 पे आ जाता है बॉल के साथ, तो गोलकीपर के पास नैरो एंगल है, तो जो लेफ्ट बैक है पोजीशन नंबर 4 उसको भी स्पिन आनी चाहिए। अगर पोजीशन चेंज 7 4 हो रहा है तो 4 जब 7 पे जाके गोल करता है नैरो एंगल से, तो वो गोलकीपर की चेस्ट में मार देता है तो फास्ट ब्रेक लग जाती है। तो he should also be master of spin also. So every player should be master of every technique of throwing in handball. So you have to work on that from the childhood, then it will be executed in the junior or senior level. So thank you very much, dear colleagues. You have heard us, listened very carefully, paid attention. So tomorrow again we will meet at 11:30 with a new chapter. Thank you very much. Now, have a good day. We are going to end the meeting. Thank you.